Hello again, everybody. My name is Christopher Zimmerman, Music Director of the Fairfax Symphony Orchestra. And I have with me today a long-time player of the orchestra, Cindy Crumb, who's one of our second violinists. Cindy, you're really great to join me virtually for a chat. I really appreciate it. Thanks for doing it. I know you've been with the orchestra a long time. I'm not quite sure quite how many years. Would you care to tell us?
I joined the orchestra in the 1984-85 season. So I've been playing nonstop since then.
I'm sure you, as well as I, miss the concerts we give and were to give. We had 2 left for this season, as you know. What do you miss most about not being able to perform for our audience?
Well, I think for me in particular, I always have been a musician who prefers playing with other people in an orchestra more so than solo playing. That was always my greatest love. I did the solo works in college and whatnot too, because that's what you're expected to do. And I gave my recitals, but my first love has always been playing with the orchestra. So I miss it so much. I miss practicing the repertoire. I mean, sure, I have repertoire here and I take it out, I can practice it, but it's not the same as knowing that you have that you have a performance coming up soon and looking forward to that. So I miss it so much.
So you're a violinist. Can you
Yes.
tell us a bit about the instrument you play?
Yes, actually, my instrument is a family instrument. My instrument was made in about 1750 in Germany. But the interesting part about my instrument is that it was made to almost copy an Amati instrument.
Wow.
It was made by a family of violin makers, last name Klotz, K-L-O-T-Z. The maker of mine it was Matthias Klotz, and he made it look like so much like an Amati instrument that often when you take it into one of the violin shops, they go all crazy and they're like, oh, this, and I'm like, no, it's not an Amati. It's made to look like that. But the more interesting part is my violin was played by my great uncle, in Carl Crumb in the Cincinnati Symphony for years and years and years. And he passed away before I actually got a chance to meet him. But I had the opportunity to get to know his wife because she still lived in Cincinnati when I went to school in Cincinnati. And I spent some of those holidays with her, Mother's Day, Easter, whatever, when I couldn't go home, I would go and spend with her. And when she passed away, well, actually before she passed away, she gave me his violin and gave me a stack of music so high that he had. I feel very fortunate. So I started playing that instrument actually when I went to college. She was able to give it to me before then. And I finished my high school days on the instrument my parents had purchased. And then I had this instrument to start my college days. And I've been playing on it ever since.
Ever since, God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so for those who may not know, Amati, the maker, is a huge name. I mean, maybe only second to Stradivarius, actually.
Yes, I think so.
I'm sure they went berserk when they thought it was.
They did. It was really funny, but I even have some papers that say, made copying an Amati, but it's not.
So Cindy, can you tell us what you enjoy about, I mean, you've alluded to this, but maybe what you enjoy about playing with the Fairfax Symphony in particular? You say you love playing with orchestra.
Yes. Well, I think in my case, it's probably just all the friends and colleagues that I've made through the years. And many of them haven't changed, although we do have an influx of new people here and there. But but there are those of us that have been in the orchestra for that long a period of time, and I think it's like getting to work with my oldest friends.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And what do you find perhaps most challenging about performing with a live orchestra, with our orchestra?
Just the ability to come to rehearsals prepared, having practiced the music at near correct tempos, and that in my opinion, you gain from listening and having performed the pieces probably before, but also listening to recordings, and then coming to the rehearsals and then seeing, okay, this all worked. This is all good. I got the tempos right. Now I need to go back and redo this again. And learning new music, music that we haven't played before, new works.
Yes, and that, from my perspective, is also an important part of the balance, to have the orchestra and the audience, the diet being something which everyone knows or has, knows of, versus something brand new.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of interesting, maybe important. So Cindy, many people are obviously turning to the arts online right now.
Yes.
And we're doing our bit. Do you have any opinions why people tune into the arts, maybe particularly classical music, and why right now, and in general, why classical music is important for us as a society or as a community?
Yeah, I think, I know with me, and I would assume that it might be the case for even people who are not classical musicians and who don't make that their careers. I know that I associate certain feelings and certain times in my life with certain pieces of music. I think that people are turning to music, classical music in particular, possibly for those reasons, or maybe they just have the time now to delve into some types of music that they're not familiar with. And maybe that's why.
I'd never thought of that last point.
Yeah.
People have the time to experiment.
Yeah.
Maybe that's true. Maybe they think, oh, I've never thought I'd like classical music, but I've got time to give it a shot.
Right.
I hope you're right about that.
Right. And it may also be that this is a big step, but it may be that they're watching more TV, and a lot of classical music is used in TV shows.
That's right.
Either as background or whatever. I mean, we experience it almost daily, or whenever we do watch TV, we're like, wonder why they picked that piece.
Yeah, right.
You know?
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
So I want to switch gears with you, Cindy, a little bit, because
Sure.
And people don't know this, most people don't know this, that you have a dual role, and obviously violinist in the orchestra, but a very significant role, I know, is that of personnel manager. So you are, like me, you're a member of the orchestra, but you're also on the staff in an organizational capacity. It's a very big job. I don't need to tell you that. Maybe our listeners or watchers might be interested in, what is that? What is a personnel manager of the orchestra? What are the responsibilities? What do you have to do? Could you maybe talk a bit about that?
Basically, in a nutshell, my job as personnel manager is to put the actual individuals on stage. And that means that we have a roster of musicians in the orchestra. And I start preparing for every concert, assuming that all of those individuals that are called for in a particular concert are going to play the concert. But that's not always the case for many reasons, as we know. And so my responsibility is to hire musicians to supplement the orchestra, the regular musicians that are already signed up to play that concert. My responsibility is to supplement them by using our sub lists, and the people who make up our sub lists for a given instrument are people who have auditioned for the orchestra to perform either as a regular member or if we don't have any openings at the time, they audition to be placed on our sub list. So my responsibility is to run the auditions that I just mentioned,
Yeah.
and then also give, as I was mentioning before, for each concert, hire the individuals to fill the positions that we need for a given concert. And then once that's all done, making sure that they're to the rehearsals on time. These being adults, most of the time I don't have to do that, but occasionally there's a phone call, where are you? Why aren't you here? And so it's that, and communicating with them just with things that come up. And of course, in this time back in March, communicating the sad stories of us having to, or the sad situations where we had to cancel all the concerts. And so I may not be the one that puts all the copy together that they're going to get, but I forward the information to them. So that's mainly my job, and it is a big job, and it's hard sometimes in rehearsals and in concerts to take off one hat and put on the other hat.
Yes.
Just even a simple thing like, it's time for me to get on stage now and be the musician, wear that hat. And people are still coming up to me and asking me questions. Or
Yes.
Break time, same thing. So it's hard at times to take off one hat and put on the other, but it happens.
That's a great answer, actually. And I would tell our listeners also that I don't want to embarrass you,
Oh.
that you are really a lifeline for me. I mean, you are my sort of right-hand person so much in this job, the conduit to the orchestra. You know, as you know, of course, when I want to communicate with everyone as a whole outside rehearsal, I'm always sending emails or whatever to you so you can send them out. I mean, it's a vital aspect. It's interesting what you say about wearing the two hats. I'm sure that's difficult, as it is with, you know, there are, as you know, of course, there are a couple of other individual players who also have other responsibilities, like our stage manager.
Yes.
And he has to put on two hats as well, you know, make sure
Yes.
the chairs are in the right place or whatever it may be, you know, perform an administrative duty and then become an artist. Very difficult, I think. Right. Cindy, should we be inspiring our next generation of musicians to learn classical music?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I told my students when I was teaching high school all those years, when I had the chance, when things came up like course selection for the next school year, or I had a sophomore or junior come to me and say, I'd like to maybe major in music, what are your suggestions? I always said to them, particularly when it was time for signing up for classes, I would say, my purpose here is not to make every single one of you the future music majors of the world. I said, first of all, let me be quite honest with you. That's one of the hardest things to do, is to be a music major, and more importantly, to go out and get a job in music. It's just, you have to be the cream of the crop, the top of the shelf. I said, that's not my purpose here. My purpose here is to teach you what you can learn on this instrument so that we can come together, be an orchestra, be a family, and you'll have a love of music your entire life. Whether you continue to play professionally, if that is your route, or if you play in a community orchestra or your church, or for yourself, you'll have a love of it, and you will continue to go to concerts, because I used to require my students to go to a certain number of concerts per year. I think honestly some of them hated that, but I think also many of them got to concerts they never would have gone to and thoroughly enjoyed them. So we absolutely must instill this in our future.
Right. I think you should, yeah, making them go. That's an interesting thought.
Well,
because they might, yeah, because, you know, every so often someone has a revelation. They just fall in love with the piece of music, whatever it may be. And that's very valuable.
And I have students, former students that I'm friends with Facebook on, Facebook now, and they will periodically just post something on Facebook. Like I heard Barbara's Adagio on whatever. And oh, it brought back so many memories of high school orchestra when we performed that or whatever. And that just means the world to me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cindy, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate having a chat.
Me
And,
too. It's been fun.
you know, let's keep our fingers crossed as to hopefully the season opening on time. No one has any idea, but
Okay.
certainly looking forward to seeing you
Same here.
in person pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.